Hi, I'm Kristen. I'm a myofunctional therapist, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about sleep. Quite a few of my patients come in to see me when they have tried a bunch of other things to help them sleep, and it is not working. So I usually ask them about some of those basic things just to make sure that they really do understand how crucial different things are to our sleep and the little easy things that they could be changing to help improve their sleep. And if they truly are doing those things, they've already known about them, they're already trying them, and it's not working, then we take a look deeper and see what's going on. But I would like to go over some of those basic things with you so that you can figure out whether or not you're doing the best things for your sleep. And then if there's a further issue, then you can come talk to me or find a sleep specialist near you. Some basic things when it comes to sleep. It is super important to allow the heart to rest. Now that means that the heart rate drops. So if the heart rate is above 60 beats per minute, then the heart rate is probably working really, really hard. And this is for adults. Babies are different. I'm talking about adults. If the heart rate is above 60 beats per minute and you're not exercising, you're not out there exerting yourself, then your body isn't quite resting as well as it could, right? And so it is ideal, as while we're sleeping, that our heart rate drop at least to 60. Probably less would be even better. There are so many factors that come into our heart rate. When we are exercising, our heart rate is going to go up. When we're exerting ourselves in any way, our heart rate is likely to go up. When we eat, our heart rate is likely to go up. Why? Because we are about to start digesting food and the blood needs to be sent to the digestive system to be working on helping digest all the food and then get that nutrition to the rest of the body. And so if we are eating right before bed or even within a couple of hours of sleeping, we're going to kick our heart rate back up. And so it's really important to try to not eat the last couple of hours before we go to sleep. Now, I found very helpful for me to eat some protein during the day so that I'm feeling more full, so that I don't feel the need to eat the last couple of hours before I go to sleep. Because I used to do that. I used to feel like I really couldn't go to sleep without eating something. I would feel like I was really hungry. But if I eat protein for dinner, then I'm much more likely to not feel the need to eat right before bed. And then I'm going to sleep so much better. Even with all the breathing techniques that I know how to do, with all the myofunctional therapy, all that kind of stuff, if my heart rate isn't allowed to drop while I'm sleeping, I'm not going to sleep as well. I'm going to wake up feeling a little more tired, which makes sense because my heart rate didn't get a chance to drop. My heart didn't get a chance to rest. So it's super, super important to not exercise the last hour before bed, to not eat the last hour or two before bed, to not be doing things that are very intense, such as working on a problem that is really, really intense right before bed. That is going to keep the mind awake. That's going to keep the heart rate up. So if you can, take a break from those things and spend some time relaxing, the things that you look forward to doing, and maybe you aren't giving yourself a chance to do those things because you just feel like you've got to get all this work done. It will help your body to relax and get better sleep so that you can get more work done the next day if you take care of your heart the couple of hours before bed. It's probably the most important thing that one can do is help the heart rate to calm down while one is sleeping. So a couple other things that one can do to help improve one's sleep that are super easy that you can do starting tonight is adjusting the temperature of your room. We tend to sleep better when the temperature in the room is just a little bit cooler than what we would like when we're awake during the day. So you've got your blankets on you to keep you warm, and then you've got this nice cool air that is very refreshing to the body. And so if you're keeping your temperature at like 70 degrees, 72 degrees, maybe even 74, because it's so cold outside during the winter, you really want to allow the temperature to decrease to like 68, maybe even 65. I keep the temperature in my house a little bit lower than that even. I just have a couple of extra blankets with me. I just love the chill feeling of the air and then being able to cuddle up in all of my blankets. And I feel like I sleep really, really well when the air around me that I am breathing is nice and crisp and cool. So that can be actually really, really helpful. In fact, there are mattress covers that are really expensive that will regulate the temperature of your bed. And those are really kind of nice for people who their temperature tends to fluctuate for a variety of reasons. This could be hormone reasons. I know several men who like this mattress cover that keeps their bed from heating up because some men are just furnaces and they just have so much heat in their body. And so this helps them stay cool without having to turn the air conditioner on during the summer. So they find that they sleep so much better. And because they're sleeping so much better, they're much more productive and happy during the day. And they feel like it's really been awesome for their lives. So that is a really fun one as well. A little more expensive than just, changing the temperature of your room via your air conditioning or heating. But if you can get a really good night's sleep consistently, then life is going to be so much better, right? Now, if those things don't work, then seeing an airway dentist, they're going to be able to see what it is going on structurally and functionally inside your throat. And that is really nice because sometimes we just don't realize what's going on. We cannot see inside of our own throats, right? And we grew up the way we grew up, which means that our body grew the way that it grew. That means you have not experienced anything other than what you have experienced. And so if you grew up with a smaller mouth or with a tongue that sits in the throat and not in the mouth while you're sleeping because your mouth is wide open or you're not breathing through your nose, you couldn't breathe through your nose, any and all of those things could be throwing off your sleep dramatically, and you just had no idea because that's how you grew up, and you've never experienced anything else. And so seeing a dentist who takes an x-ray of the entire head, not just your teeth, is so important. And that can be done by airway focused dentists, and they are phenomenal. They're going to take a look at everything. They're going to try to figure out what's going on. They're going to get to the root cause of the issue and help you out. Now, there's just a couple of other things that are inexpensive. Getting your vitamin D and vitamin B levels. Now, there's a ton of vitamin Bs, and there's only a couple of vitamin Ds, but if you can get your vitamin D3 levels checked and a lot of your vitamin B levels, especially vitamin B12, get those checked. And if they're in a healthy level, then you're probably doing pretty well there. Vitamin D regulates hibernation in some mammals, and it regulates deep sleep in humans. And vitamin B actually helps our gut health quite a bit. And the two are very directly related. And so if we've got great gut health and we've got good hormones that are regulating our sleep, then we're going to be much more likely to go to sleep and stay asleep and have good quality sleep. And so checking on your hormone levels, checking on your vitamin levels, that can go a long way to making sure that you've got the best system and the best nutrition working for you so that your body can do what it needs to do. Avoiding blue light at the end of the day. Blue light, it tells our brain to wake up. Why? Because the sky is blue, and we have lived here on Earth for eons of time, and our genes recognize that when the sky is blue, the sun is up, and we should be awake and doing things and having adventures and going out and living our lives. Now, if we are tricking our brains by looking at screens that emit a lot of blue light, or maybe even have lights in our house that have a lot of blue light, that is going to tell our brains that we need to stay awake. And so if you can dim the blue lights, if you can get rid of them or reduce them or wear glasses that get rid of that blue light, and allow your body to go through its regular processes of preparing for sleep by getting rid of that stimulation, that can be super helpful as well. And usually that doesn't cost very much either. There are some really cool settings that are available on our computational devices these days. In fact, in my phone, I changed the setting so that when 9 o'clock comes around, my phone automatically goes from regular color to like a grayscale, and all of a sudden that phone becomes so boring to me and I don't want to spend any more time on it, which is fantastic. My brain becomes bored with it. It's not stimulated by all these bright colors coming in my eyes, and my body starts getting ready to fall asleep. Now, if one is struggling to sleep because one's struggling to breathe, like one is snoring a little bit or having some sleep apnea episodes, or even has upper airway resistance syndrome, that is literally where the upper airway, this is the airway, comes from the nose and down the throat, the upper airway. The lower airway would be the lungs. If that is closing off a little bit, not all the way, but just a little bit, and so the body feels like it's struggling to breathe just a little bit, but not stopping to breathe, then that can be an issue as well. And the heart rate is going to jump back up, and the body's going to be a little more alert and a little more aware. Like, why are we suffocating a little bit here? That's not good. If we go into deep sleep and it feels like it's relaxing too much, though that airway, those muscles are closing in, then the body is going to stay a little more alert. And so that person isn't going to be able to stay in deep sleep for as long as they ought to. And that person is going to come back into a lighter stage of sleep. And that can be an issue because then the person will sleep throughout the night, but they'll wake up not feeling very rested. And so it's super, super important that the heart be able to relax, and the heart is only going to relax if the body feels like it can. So doing everything you possibly can to help yourself relax, make sure that you maybe talk to a airway dentist or talk to myself and find out if your throat is really, really closed off. Signs of that might be like a narrow mouth or a small mouth, crowded teeth, like little signs of scalloping. along the tongue. I don't have any scalloping on the tongue to show you, but literally it looks like the tongue is being pressed onto the teeth because it is if the mouth is really small. And if it's pushing on those teeth, then it's probably because it's trying to stay out of your throat. And so it's super important to have that all checked out if you're struggling with that. Now, how do we know if that's the thing that you need to look into? Well, there is a really great company called sleeptest.com, and they will send you a sleep assessment kit to your home with a chest strap, with a little finger sensor that checks your oxygen and your heart rate, and a little nasal cannula that's checking your breathing. Now, this is not a full-on sleep study like in a lab where they put a bunch of sensors all over your brain and they're like tracking your brain waves and they're seeing just how much deep sleep you're getting, how much REM sleep you're getting, and all the different stages. And that is great. And that is super thorough. And people who are really struggling with their sleep ought to get one of those. But if you're like, I don't have the money to go to a lab, or I would just like to know if I should be concerned about this, or I think that there's something going on, then sleeptest.com is great. You've got neurologists there who will read the sleep assessment and get you a great idea as to whether or not you are struggling with your sleep. Now, they will send you one of two, so you got to be careful because you don't want to get the one that's just a ring. The ring is okay, but it's not as accurate as the one that has a chest strap that goes around the bottom of your ribs, as well as a little finger sensor that's tracking a bunch of different things, and then a nasal cannula that's tracking your breathing. And that is super awesome to have because I love sleeping in my own bed, and I feel like it is hard enough to wear a bunch of gadgets while I'm sleeping. I even tried it myself. It was great. Good news, I don't have sleep apnea, but I wanted to know what it was like. And I wore it for 2 nights and I sent it back in and they gave me a bunch of data on my sleep. And it was really, really nice because I had information for telling me, hey, that this is what's going on. And this is maybe what you could do to help improve your airway or help improve your sleep or whatever else is going on. And then I took that to a sleep dentist that I work with. And I said, hey, is there anything on here that you think I ought to be doing? And he even took a 3D x-ray of my head, which is awesome because when a dentist does that, they can then measure how much space you've got in your mouth. They can measure how much space you've got in your throat. They can take a look at your nasal septum to see if it's straight or if it's deviated. They can look at your sinuses to see if they're filled with gunk or not, which is really nice because then it's kind of a one-stop shop for the whole skull. Now they can't take a look at the brain. That would have been nice, but like, hey, is my brain working well? But it's not for that. It is for all these structures here that should be supporting the muscles, should be supporting an open airway. And it was really interesting to see. It's like, yeah, well, maybe you could benefit from a little bit of expansion of your jaw. You know, you've had a little bit of expansion in the past, but not enough to really help. And so if you expand your mouth just a little bit more, you'll probably have a little more room for your tongue, and then you'll sleep even more easily with your mouth closed, breathing through your nose, sleeping really calmly. I thought, great, that's totally what I'm going to do. And he even took a look at my spine. He could see just a couple of the vertebrae, and he was like, hey, it might be helpful to see a chiropractor. I have a really gentle chiropractor that I see, and if you're open to it, it might be helpful to get some adjustments that way, and then your overall body would be able to relax much more easily, and then maybe you would feel better while you're sleeping. And I thought, hey, this was really awesome. And so he was able to see several things. I hope some of these tips help and that you have a much better sleep tonight.